Call to order the November 21st meeting of Mayor and Council. I'd like to call on Councilman Tim Carroll to lead us in prayer. If you'll all remain standing for the pledge.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we come to you tonight and again thank you for all the blessings you give us. Continue to ask that you put your hand over our city. It is hurting right now, and it needs all the help we can get. Please be with all those that are working so hard, so diligently to repair this city and bring it back to order. We ask this in your Son's name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have a large crowd tonight, so I'm going to lead with a little housekeeping. Please silence your phones. I was hoping I heard a couple breathing their last breath before we got started today. Council's had time to review the minutes from the November 7th, 2024 regular meeting. Are there any additions or deletions to those minutes? Seeing none and hearing none, the minutes are approved by acclamation. Move on to item 3. It's a public hearing item. Consideration of request to close the public right-of-way, Maiden Alley and Wall Street between South Toon Street and West Hill Avenue. Ben O'Dowd, our city engineer, will come forward and present. Ben.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. For this first agenda item, it's pretty straightforward. I'd like to just appreciate my staff member, Charlie Clark, who discovered the historic naming of these alleys, i.e. Maiden Alley and Wall Street. I thought that was pretty cool. Just a side note, with the recent Georgia Power renovations that they've been doing in the alleys, or rather what they just completed, we had to do a good bit of historical map research, and we went back and looked and found all those historical names. But the portion of the alley in question is surrounded by properties owned by IDP South Patterson LLC, and they're being requested for closure. Valdosta Investment Partners LLP, and they're being requested for closure. The applicant is the sole owner of all abutting properties. We have performed all of the necessary advertisements. We've posted all the necessary signage. We've inquired about utilities. There is a city sewer line located within the alley. Though that city sewer line serves only the applicant and can be responsibly abandoned to private ownership of the applicant should the alley be abandoned. There is Georgia Power infrastructure located within the alley, and the applicant is in the process of coordinating new easements with Georgia Power to accommodate that infrastructure. We have assessed the situation. We've determined that the alley is no longer providing any substantial public use and can be responsibly abandoned, and staff is recommending abandonment and closure of this alley. Any questions for me?
Council, any questions for Ben? Ben? None? Ben, thank you.
Who's going to maintain?
Say again?
Who's going to maintain?
When alleys and public rights of way are abandoned, they're split along their center lines, right? So when the applicant, or if council chooses to abandon or vacate that right of way, then the applicant would retain ownership of the alley and would be responsible for maintenance.
Any other questions? Ben, thanks. Yeah, this is a public hearing item. Are there any people that want to come forward and speak in favor of? Please state your name and address.
Hey, my name is Daniel Bayman. I'm with Valdosta Investment Partners located at 106 South Patterson Street, which is the property in question. So I came up here mainly just to answer any questions y'all may have, but as been stated, Valdosta Investment Partners purchased this property in March of this year. We have intentions of doing a development on it, but as where the sewer line currently lays, is kind of a little bit, it's too close to where we want to develop, so we're going to end up having to move that sewer line anyways. So it is our intention as part of that development to relocate the current sewer line and it feed just our property. So that was the reason for the request.
Any questions for Daniel? Daniel, thank you.
Okay, thank y'all.
Is there anybody else that would like to come forward and speak in favor of this request? Seeing none, is there anybody that would like to come forward and speak in opposition to this request? Again, seeing none, council, it's yours for action.
Yeah, I would, excuse me. Yeah, I would like to make a motion that we approve the request as stated.
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor, show of hands. Council, thank you. Daniel, good luck. Move on to item 4, ordinances and resolutions. A, consideration of a resolution to enter into an agreement with the Georgia Interlocal Risk Management Agency, GERMA, to provide coverage for the first responders as required by House Bill 451. Jenny Boyer, our Human Resources Director, to present. Hi, Jenny.
Hey, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor, Council. House Bill 451, which goes into effect on January 1st of 2025, mandates that we provide lump sum and income replacement PTSD benefits for all first responders. This is an unfunded mandate, unfortunately. The quote that we've gotten from GERMA for those premiums is $30,488 for the 2025 calendar year. GERMA is in this business. This is what they do. This will enter us into the first responder post-traumatic stress disorder program under GERMA. So we are proposing this ordinance to allow us to enter into the program. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Council. Jenny, thank you.
Thank you.
Council, straightforward. Yours for action.
Mayor, make a motion to approve the request. Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, show of hands. Jenny, thank you. Item 5, bids, contracts, agreements, and expenditures. Item A, consideration of bids for the purchase of a non-CDL vacuum jet sewer truck. The City of Valdosta Utilities Department, Jason Barnes, our Utilities Director, will present. Jason.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Good evening.
This is just to purchase a non-CDL sewer truck. It will provide the necessary suction and water pressure required for the wastewater utility maintenance, and basically expand our labor resources by not requiring a commercial driver's license CDL to operate. You can see the bids. Environmental products did not meet the spec, so the staff recommends the council approve the low bid meeting the specs of Adams Equipment in the amount of $398,968. I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Council, any questions? Tim?
Jason, what's the lead time on this?
I'm not know what the lead time, probably a good few months. I have to talk with John Burton, but I'm thinking a few months, probably lead time. This actually be able to help, we have the CDL to drive, so this is kind of our flexibility of our staff to be able to use this truck for small stuff. Won't have to call somebody in for a CDL, so.
Any other questions?
Is this class funded or this,
These are user fees.
Council? Good. Jason, stay close. Council, yours for action.
I'd like to make a motion to approve this if you get the same.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor? Show of hands. Jason, come forward. Item B is consideration of a request to purchase a new decanter unit for installation at the Withlacoochee wastewater treatment plant. Jason again.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mayor. This is the decanter for the sequential bash reactor, which is SBR4. Was originally installed in 2016. Currently, the decanter in this SBR4 is not closing properly, so it's allowing this, the solids to spill into the decanter, which causes into the housing during the mixing and the aeration of the SBR. So that our utility staff found in 2022 that this decanter model is no longer available. It's limited on parts. This same model that we're asking for now for approval was the one that was installed in the original and SBR1. So this is the same decanter. They're manufactured and sold by Aquarobic Systems. They're exclusive manufacturer and the sole provider of this equipment. The staff recommends to approve the request to purchase a new decanter from Aquarobic Systems in the amount of $97,860. I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Council? So what's the life of these things?
Sir?
What's the life?
The life it's a good year as far as parts and all. I mean, this one was put in SBR 1 like 2 years ago, and we haven't had any problems as of yet. So This 2 and 3 is the older one, so we'll come to that for next budget and try to replace all these decanters in all 4 basins.
Any other questions? Jason, thank you. Stay close. Council, yours for action.
Mayor, make a motion to approve the request as stated.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, show of hands. Council, thank you. Jason, come on back up. Consideration of a request to approve a proposal for design and engineering services for electrical and control rehabilitation at wells number 1 and number 5.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, this is a city has had ongoing improvements to our well field, which originally was conducted in 1991. It's been in operation since that time. The electrical equipment at wells 1 and 5 have reached the end of their life and the operations and control for these wells. So the staff requested a proposal from the engineer of record, CDM Smith, for those services on October 23 of this year. CDM Smith submitted a proposal. They have originally, this is just a proposal for the design and engineering services. We did this about 2-3 years ago for wells 4, 6, and 7. So these are the last 2 wells in the well field that need to be upgraded for the electrical and control at these wells. And the staff recommends to approve the proposal submitted by CDM Smith in the amount of $119,495. I will say, once this is approved, we will go out for bid for the construction part of the actual controls.
Council,
I'll
any
be glad to
questions?
answer any questions.
Jason, thank you.
Thank you.
Council, yours for action again.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we approve this as presented.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, show of hands. Council, thank you. Jason, thank you. We'll move on to item D, consideration of bids for an emergency pipe repair on Ravenwood Drive. Ben O'Dowd, city engineer, to present again.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. September of this year, we had some damage to a corrugated metal pipe, or identified some damage to a corrugated metal pipe located at 1121 Ravenwood Drive here in town. We solicited bids to line the pipe. Staff determined that this would be the most effective method of repair for this particular pipe. Due to the condition of the surface improvements above the pipe, it would have been a substantial cost to the city to remove those same improvements, open cut and replace the pipe, and then restore those same improvements over top of the pipe, which is our standard practice. We had the emergency repair work done, and as is in accordance with our standard practice, if it's above the $50,000 approval threshold for the city manager, emergency repair work is to be brought before council for final approval and payment. And that is the agenda item that I'm presenting to you. The work was done for $61,275. This includes the preliminary videography of the line, scouring and cleaning of the line in order to prepare the line for lining, and then the actual lining work itself. I can answer any questions that you might have.
Council.
Now, is that the pipe that over by where you go on film? Where is that?
It's located on Ravenwood. It's located on Ravenwood,
Is that north?
which is adjacent to, if you're familiar with the Eager Farm property, it's one of the roads to the northeast of the Eager Farm property, the old Eager Farm property. It's kind of situated at the back of, it discharges straight into a swamp that borders the Withlacoochee River.
I think it's on this swamp. Closest. I thought we would have this little pipe similar in that area. That's not the problem.
We have had tremendous issues with corrugated metal pipes. Usually it's most cost effective to open cut and replace piping. As a general rule, it's most cost effective to do that, but in some scenarios it makes more sense for us to line those pipes. Staff determined that it would be more cost effective to line this pipe. It was also more expedient, which was also a value that we, anytime expedience and cost can align, we jump at the opportunity. So.
Council, any more questions? Ben, thank you. Council, yours for action.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve this request as presented.
Second. Motion and a second. All in favor, show of hands. Ben, stay close. Item 6, local funding request. Item A, consideration of a request for the deletion of Chapter 328, landscape buffers and screening of the land development regulations for the city of Valdosta. Ben O'Dowd, present.
Yes, sir. Chapter 328 of the LDR is the landscape and buffering chapter of the LDR. It's one of the requirements for qualification as a Tree City USA. It's one of the reasons why we're able to achieve that designation every year. We've proudly been a Tree City USA in spite of hurricanes since 1987. Staff received the directive from council to bring Chapter 328 of the LDR forward for consideration for deletion under the quoted directive that's stated there in the agenda item. The intent of this directive, we believe, is to alleviate cost for development and to alleviate cost and penalties to developers who wish to clear cut properties within the city, commercial properties. We initially kind of took a look at the LDR and tried to assess it and comb through it and figure out a way that we could retain Chapter 328 and still achieve the intent of this quoted directive here, but that was not feasible. If we want to basically accomplish this quoted directive, it would render the entirety of that chapter useless. And so as a result, we kind of came to the conclusion, okay, if that's really what the desire is, we wanted to kind of present the benefits and disadvantages of any action for or against that. Urban forest advantages are listed there and urban forest disadvantages are listed there. I probably don't need to belabor or go into detail about the disadvantages of having trees. There are some very important advantages that we've enjoyed for many, many years. Having come from the private side, having come from the development side as a developer's engineer for many years, in many different developing environments, I can honestly and objectively say that the city's landscape regulations are right dead in the middle. They're right where we need them, in my opinion. They're not too extensive. They're not overly lax. I feel like they're a good, perfect median. We've assessed, we've reached out to stakeholders, we've reached out to community stakeholders. I solicited input from the city arborist, from various city staff. I've solicited input from the tree commission. All of that input is provided in the feedback underneath the agenda item. I've never written this before, but I wanted to make my position clear. And so I said staff strongly recommends option 2, which is the retention of Chapter 328. I do not endorse the deletion of this chapter. And I can answer any questions that you might have to that effect.
Council.
Who wrote the LDR?
Who wrote the LDR?
Who wrote the LDR?
I do not know who wrote the LDR.
Does the city council make ordinance?
Yes,
So we can make adjustments to this if we see fit, right?
absolutely.
So that's not what we asked for. We didn't ask for the deletion of this. We asked, what we asked for was that we not mandate any business to plant any more, to have to plant any more trees. Because we just suffered too many storms. We didn't want to put them at any more risk. And we wanted to make sure that we could tell people we did not want any trees planted within 25 feet of utility lines. So when we do have a storm, trees come down, we won't interrupt utility. That's what we asked for. We didn't ask for the complete deletion.
If you'll read further up in the quoted directive, which I received, that quoted directive is what I acted upon.
Right.
Frankly.
That's not what we,
When you say we, sir, when you say we,
yeah, we
as a council, as a body,
right.
was there a unified objective here as a council?
I never asked for the, to delete it.
To be deleted.
I never received a Chapter 328 with red line markups. If council would like to read that same chapter and provide an addition or deletion to that same chapter, then I would readily review and propose that at a council meeting.
Well, what we're asking now in this meeting is that the next meeting that we attend, we like for that to be placed in it or not, we'll vote on this and we didn't have to delete the whole thing. Because that's not what we suggested when we presented this.
Council, I'll give you that option. I got 4 options for you, and I'll give you an option to table to a specified date, and then come back with.
Mayor, I would request that if the decision is made to table this, I would request that council prepare a detailed review of that same chapter with red line markups, I would ask the council read that same chapter and recommend modifications or deletions within that same chapter.
Well, I like to go on record just to state that I never requested that this to be deleted. Never.
Okay.
All we did was discuss at our retreat in September, per Eric Howard, Councilman Howard's request, was to bring the LDR before us so that we could talk about it, discuss it, modify it, make changes, whatever the case may be. Never received an email with the LDR with this.
Okay.
Never received one. And if we did, then I didn't receive it or it was overlooked.
Well, just for the record, the LDR
And,
consists of about 750 pages.
That's correct.
Of what? Chapter 328?
No.
Okay, well, we didn't request the whole LDR. Councilman Howard requested to see the tree ordinance so we can discuss it to see if we need to modify it or make changes. Now, whoever decided to throw we in this, I don't know.
What was
There was no we
requested?
to it.
Excuse me, what was requested was from Councilman Howard, no property owner within the city be mandated to plant any trees of any kind, not canopy trees, not any tree. This was presented to us after we had this discussion many times to sit down as a group to read through, redline this ordinance to make sure that what we push forward would meet the needs of the city and the community.
All right, read that first sentence again, the first 5 words.
No property owner within the city.
No, who said it? Who sent it?
Councilman Howard sent it out to the group.
Councilman Gibbs, would it have been prudent for me to list Councilman Howard by name in this agenda item?
Sure.
Understood. In the future, I'll make that decision.
Any other questions for Ben?
I just want to say, looking at this, changes and adjustments, before you just, first of all, I'm just a little bit taken aback that you would want to just completely delete anything without some kind of suggestions, which we've always had from our take advice on doing things. My second thing is, with all these trees that we've had tearing up the city of Valdosta, messing with our lives, I think this is a good opportunity for us to make some adjustments to the LDR so that we can have that. Because it has been improved more than once. This more or less was the trees that caused the biggest issues. It was the type of trees that we had. So right now, going back, I'm not saying we're going to table it or whatever, but to look at this again, we're not going to delete it. I mean, that's just.
That was never staff's recommendation. I was acting upon the directive received from a particular councilman, Councilman Howard.
Right.
And
But this is the thing.
See, it was read by.
But this is the thing. Y'all are the experts when it comes to the LDR, the ordinance, the trees, the canopy, and all those things. That's what you're hired for. And when we request suggestions, modifications, things, plant it 30 feet, plant it 20 feet, whatever, doesn't matter to me. Or let's change the trees that go along those roadways, whatever the suggestions may be. Because at the end of the day, I don't know how tall a tree grows.
the LDR currently calls for trees planted in, under, or near power distribution or service lines should be understory trees, which have a limited height canopy. Those are generally seen as crepe myrtles and understory trees,
Okay.
which have no impact during storms to those same power lines.
And per the email this afternoon or today we got, with the fact that our arborists cannot do certain things, cannot cut certain things if it's on power lines or near it or whatever. Those are the things that we need to discuss of whether we need to change, modify. Do we need to contract it out? Do we need to hire the folks? Do we need to, whatever it is,
Yeah.
so we can do different things. That's all we're saying is that we just want to discuss to see how can we make this better to benefit the community, not delete it. I mean, at the end of the day, we don't need to just not plant trees.
Yeah, I had a simple directive, sir, and I attempted to modify or create recommendations to present to council. I was given the directive to present this to council urgently. It was expressed as an urgent directive, and so that's what I did.
So you have modifications for us?
I could not produce any meaningful modifications based on that simple directive. No property owner within the city be mandated to plant any trees of any kind, not canopy trees, not any tree.
Did you say property owner or business owner?
Property owner.
But that's why we're up here discussing it.
Residential
At the end of the
property
day,
owners are exempt
At the end of
from
the day, I don't
opioid.
agree with not planting any trees at all.
That's good. I think we have alignment there.
But I think,
I think the bottom line is that we just wanted a discussion first before we,
And so just to iterate, and we asked to sit down and redline and make sure that we could present something that we could live with. This was the directive that we were giving, that this is what we wanted. That this is why I brought it to.
There's we.
we never have had we told you what we wanted, but we never have come together to do this. But anyway, that's
Yeah, so for
at this point, we need to figure out what date we need to do so that we can table.
So for council and for our engineer, item option 4 is going to give you that option to ask for a different directive. So is there any more questions for Ben at this time? Here comes your options. Council, Ben, thank you. Council, number 1, council can approve or deny the request as presented. Number 2, the agenda item was not advertised as a public hearing. However, if council so chooses, they can make a motion to allow public comment on this agenda item with a majority vote of council. Each side, those in favor and those in opposition will have 15 minutes each. Item 3 is council can choose not to allow public comment and continue with a motion to either approve or not approve. And item 4, council can make a motion to table the request to a date certain to allow for a specific change to be made by council and staff to chapter 328, not 238, 328, the land development regulation. So there's your 4 options.
since I'm the one who asked for this to be brought forward, I just want to make sure that when I make this motion to table it, that we go in with a solution. I want to make sure that everyone's clear on what we're trying to accomplish with this. Not to take all trees out, to make sure that the trees that we're going to allow business owners and residents to plant are not going to affect our roadways and our utility lines. That's the only thing we were meant. That's all we meant by that. And to make sure that we're asking business owners really just have to open a business. They don't have to have a certain amount of trees that they have to plant. That's the whole purpose of it. It wasn't to just eliminate the thing completely. And that's why when we asked for discussion. This has been 5 years. I've been asking for this for 5 years. So yeah, I'd like to table it, but I want to make sure that we bring it back up at the first meeting in December with the changes. First meeting in December.
He said,
I think we need a little bit more time in the first meeting. So,
might need first of the year.
yeah, I think because we have to be really concerned. We have to really, really dig into this to make sure it meets what our citizens need, what our business owners need, the needs of the city. This is not this LDR has been in place for years. And we need to make sure that when we change it, it needs to be together.
I agree.
Well, whatever we do, it needs to be specific.
Yeah.
For staff.
We do have a second meeting in December. It's early enough that
But that's the whole discussion of making sure that whatever we do, changes we make, is in the, I guess, not only with the citizens, but also with our staff that can maintain the things that we're gonna suggest and stuff as well. So, I'm all for, can we make a motion?
He's made one, but it's
He's made one.
Did he make it? He did not make
I'm
a motion.
gonna have to make an amendment to the guy saying
to January.
or to January.
We'll have it right on that second one. So please, go ahead.
Motion.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion that we take this until meeting in January.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further comments? All in favor, show of hands. Motion is tabled. We'll now move on to item 7, citizens to be heard. It's the portion of the meeting that we ask you to come forward and state your name and address so we may have it for the record. Our policy requires you stay under 3 minutes so that others have time to be heard. Please direct all comments to council as a whole. Do not attempt to engage individual members of council in debate. It is our policy to follow through immediately with your concern. Additionally, we ask that any groups who want to address the council designate one spokesperson, again, to ensure that all have the time to be heard. Having said that, are there any citizens wishing to be heard at this time? Please come forward.
Evening, Mayor, Council.
Good evening.
My name is Burl Spriggs. I live at 209 Tri Street. I come here today with a man-made problem that we have in the neighborhood with the drainage. And the problem is the ditch needs to be cleaned out. We can't sustain the water that comes off 84. It's flooded all the houses. Even with a 6-inch rain, it's still getting flooded. There's about 3 foot of cut in the ditch. I know this for a fact. And I just ask for y'all to just try to resolve this problem.
What is your address?
209. There's a canal right between Price and Windsor.
Price?
Yeah, Price. About 75% of the houses were got flooded. And this is the second time. It got flooded last year. The ditches, they cleaned out most of the ditches, but the big ditch that handles all the water, it needs to be cleaned out. It hasn't been cleaned out in 40 years. I lived over 40 years.
Well, hang tight after the meeting, please.
Sure.
Thank you.
All right?
What street is that, Dayton?
It's between Windsor and Price.
All right. Are there any other citizens wishing to be heard at this time?
Thank you, folks.
I'm going to line up.
My name is Debbie Lawrence. We own the property at 7 Post Point Circle, which is in Worthington Woods subdivision. We've been flooded 5 times. We have a culvert behind our house. It's about this high, right up North Valdosta Highway. A pipe that's about this big that it goes into. The home is now ruined. For a year and a half, we've been trying to get something done. Mr. Tanner knows our pool is ruined. The flooding, the 5th time, which was this flood, past flood, our 22,000 gallon pool overflows. It's empty because for a year we haven't used it, a year and a half actually. Fills our 22,000 gallon pool, floods our home again. It ruins our house 5 times, guys, 5 times. And you guys, now they say there's supposed to be a 20-foot swell through our backyard. There was erosion control plan prior to the development being built 30 years ago. Mr. O'Dowd says now he's just that's the only way he'll dig a ditch through our yard. We've already lost $100,000 in value for our house, okay? The ad valorem guy came, the assessor, he lowered the value of our home $100,000. That's our retirement home. We've asked, I've written, I can get no cooperation from the city, the lawyers. We tried, guys, we tried, and we want help. And I've done a PowerPoint, and you all will get it. Please look at it. Mr. O'Dowd said the only thing he will do is dig a 20-foot ditch through our backyard. What am I supposed to do with a 20-foot ditch through our backyard? We pay $350,000 for this house, and we pay $3,300 a year in property taxes. It's unacceptable. You are welcome to come to our house anytime and look at it. I will gladly show it to you. I'll walk the property with you. We can't even get somebody in the city, an engineer or anybody, because they're afraid of the city. Swear to God, I can't get any cooperation. Everybody's afraid of the city, guys. It's very sad. I can't get anybody to even talk to me, not even an engineer. I think it's very sad, guys. Very sad. And we're not going anywhere. I'll go to Atlanta and get a lawyer. I have all the time in the world. Now we have black mold in our house. I've got to go home and plastic half my house up now because we just found out. I had a liver transplant 3.5 years ago, and I'm getting sick from sitting in this house. We have no walls, no floors for over 1.5 years. It's ridiculous. I can't get any cooperation. I've talked to the city guys. I've talked to everybody. And it's just sad. It's very sad. And I'm very sad. The PowerPoint, I hope you all look at it because Something is gonna get done. I swear, I don't care how much it costs me. Somebody's gonna fix our house and somebody's gonna fix that problem at the road. I'm tired of it. I thank you for your time.
Thank you. Are there any other citizens wishing to be heard at this time?
Yes. My name is Amos James. I live at 200 Chester Street. And back-to-back years, my house has been flooded. Y'all put a retaining pond next to the house, next across the street from me. And 2 years, I got 18 inches of water in my house. On the outside, it's 4.5 feet, but inside, 18 inches. My permit is still open from last year. I just got my house finished and had got the final sale. Now today, I had to gut my house out again. Right. And I own 3 houses in that neighborhood. 3 out of 2 then got flooded. And and the insurance company's not paying for flood insurance over there. And so now, and FEMA said they're not coming in to help because it's not a disaster area. Had declared a disaster. And I done went down to FEMA 3 times. So what can I do? Because I've been in the house 12 years. And this last 2 times, the water has never risen that high until that pond was dug over there. That retaining pond. And it's just ridiculous. I mean, I sit there, half of my stuff in my yard, 3 blocks down the road. My tenants called me, sit up, take a picture. They got water past the ankle, sitting there watching the water come in. I lost everything in my house twice. And I'm not even talking about the hurricane, I'm just talking about for the flood. I just got through with the hurricane. A week or 2 later, the flood come in. And State Farm said, that's not part of the claim. So I want to know, I'm like, where did I get help from? I mean, my funds have been going out the door fast as I could fix stuff. You know? I don't know if my time out, but but we need help over there. I mean, this can't keep there. I mean, we need help over there to try to resolve that. I got tenants there with, like I say, no walls, no floors. And what am I going to do? You know, I love the neighborhood because that's where I'm buying houses over there. And I spent plenty of money in there trying to fix them. And then for this to happen, my life savings going down. No, this is my retirement plan. And I'm gonna be living with one of y'all if something don't happen because this is it, you know. So I respectfully ask y'all come and take a look because that retaining pond is, y'all might thought that was a good idea, but I think that was the worst idea because in 12 years it never flooded like that over there. So like I'm saying, I don't know if the drain needs to be bigger or whatever, but it's not doing what it's supposed to do. And I think y'all need to come out and take a look and try to see about helping the neighborhoods. Like I said, and I can say 80 or 90%. Only the house that didn't get flooded, the last house on Cypress Street, all the way up the street, every street up that way got flooded to the last house on Cypress. That's literally going all the way through the neighborhood. So, you know, you need a rowboat to come in there to get people out of there. But I appreciate it. I like for y'all just, like I say, give us some kind of solution, some kind of, some help over there. Thank you.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. Any other citizens wishing to be heard?
Good evening, Mayor Council. My name is Brent Moore. I reside at 2610 Pebblewood Drive and also have a business on 1420 Guancho Road. I wanted to just come to you as the chairman of the tree commission for the city. And I just wanted to kind of just share with y'all that I'm thankful we are tabling the discussion tonight. And I would also like to tell y'all if y'all have any of our recommendations from the tree commission, we'd love to be able to provide that for you. I'm a huge believer in trees. My biggest stance is right tree, right location, wrong tree, wrong location, needs to go. And so, but we would love to see, make sure that this Chapter 328 does not go away. Obviously, we've discussed that that's probably not going to happen. But we would like to just ask y'all if y'all would like the tree commission's recommendations. We would love to provide that. And obviously, there's multiple complaints of flooding. If we start getting rid of trees, it will only compound. And so I was a victim of the flood 2 weeks ago as well. I had multiple inches of water in my business as well as in my vehicles and lawnmowers and different things as well. So I understand, and I don't want to see it get any worse either. So, but thank y'all for everything you do. And like I said, I would love to be of assistance in any way I can.
Thank you, Brian.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Randy Washington. I reside at 201 Price Street. Of course, Merle and Amos and neighbors of mine in the same neighborhood. Just going back, I've been living in that neighborhood about 40 years. I have detailed videos of the occurrence of October 29th of 30th of last year, Hurricane Idalia, because I live on the corner of Price and Eastview. And I remember in detail actually what happened step by step when the flood occurred. The city did respond to clear out the drain that was on Eastview. And when I was telling the person who was actually working the backhoe, I said, there's a drainage pipe underneath my ditch that's feeding over to Eastview. And I said, that's clogged because I can see the debris there. And actually I pulled it out while he was standing there. And he said, okay, I'll clean that out as well. So just from, as Merle made mention of, the ditch that's in front of my house, it's on Eastview. For whatever reason, when the hurricane occurred this year, there was no water flowing. So evidently somewhere up line, there's some type of blockage there that's occurring, because as Amos stated, in 12 years, there's never been that type of flooding there in that neighborhood. I enjoy the neighborhood. I've been there 40 years. But we cannot, as indicated, continue to suffer back to back as we're suffering now. So I listened to a video about a week ago in terms of talking about certain spots in Valdosta that they know is an issue. So in terms of hot spots, I'm sure you guys should know what areas need more attention than others. Ours is definitely one of the areas that needs attention. So I don't know what that list consists of, what was on that list, but we certainly need to be on that list, and we're not there. So we need all the help that we can get from the city in support of helping with this situation. Thank you.
Randy, thank you. Are there any other citizens wishing to be heard?
Good evening, how y'all doing?
Good.
My name is Chris Lowe. I live at 203 Chester Street. And I've been in my neighborhood about 30 years. It's the worst I ever seen it. But like my neighbor Amos said, that holding pond, when that thing risen, and it was nowhere to go but to leave. My house never flooded. The first time, it was a couple of inches coming into my house. Now this last time the storm came, I had sewer back up in my house. I called me a plumber, and he tell me ain't nothing he can do until the city come pump the manholes out. I used to work with the city back in the day. That manhole get full, ain't nothing you can do. I woke up, I had sewer backed up all in my house, lost a lot of my furniture and stuff like that. But our neighborhood, it's a good, quiet neighborhood, safe neighborhood. We trying to stay there because we got a lot of neighbors they adding on building to their houses. So we want something done about that. Them ditches, they ain't not deep enough to hold water. A little rain come, it's coming in our yard. You go to your backyard, you got a pond in your backyard, 2 or 3 inches deep. So my concern is, please give us some help, some relief. Put some manhole, some storm drain pipe down there so the water can go somewhere instead of going into our houses. I appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Alfred Miller, owned the house, 209 Miles Street. And as several of them have already mentioned, the flood water flooded my house also. We was already repairing from the hurricane, and then this flood water came in, and my concern is, looking at the liability of whose responsibility is it to keep those ditches clean out so that we can have proper drainage. I think that's the city owned the right of way, and is responsible for the ditches and the drainage. And is the city responsible also for the holding pond?
No, that is the state.
Huh?
That is the Georgia Department.
Georgia Department of Transportation and one. Okay, so I'm just trying to see who is responsible for the ditches and also the holding pond. My understanding, the holding pond, if they don't have a holding pond large enough to for the amount of water that would come in that area, I'm just looking for who is responsible. Then we can see where we need to go from there. If the city is responsible, and what other agencies that are responsible, then liable is what I'm trying to understand. Who is liable for the cleaning out of those ditches? Another story, I don't want to hear another story either. All I know is that it takes a lot of money to clean up from the storm that you all already aware of. And sooner or later, I think it's our responsibility is to hold you all responsible. If y'all don't keep up, and if y'all are not responsive to that, then there's only one more step to take, and we need to figure that out. And we need to do that as a community, and we can figure that out with some type of suit.
Thank you. Any other citizens wishing to be heard?
Yeah.
Councilman?
Yes, my name is Anthony Collier. I lived in the same area that.
Anthony, I'm going to ask a favor of you, and I can see other residents from that same area. As we do the citizens wishing to be heard, we say designated spokesperson. We are fully aware now that there is a problem in and about that area. And we'll meet with you after, and then we'll also obviously descend on that community to put eyes on it. Tim?
He said in the near area nearby. Can I get your street address?
203 Mile Street.
Yes.
I'm on the low end. I got it really bad. I just want y'all to know that.
Thank you very much. Sandra, is that where you were heading?
I didn't hear what you said. Are you not taking anymore?
Are you from that same neighborhood?
No, we're from 2105 Pin Oak, and the whole
Say the address again.
Timberline and the whole street of Pin Oak.
The community is long.
I know.
My name is Janice Strickland, and I'm at 2105. So these are my neighbors: 2101, 2100, and
1205 Timberline. 1203 Timberline. 1108 Lakewood Avenue.
I'm sorry. 2238 Pin Oak in the circle back and forth. 1202 Lakewood Avenue.
so now we've all been flooded, and I know you know the story already, but we want to give you our story. So we've had flooding in Adelia, and also when the flood just came unexpectedly, and we've had damage too from the winds in the other one, Helene. But every time we get flooded, we have to replace
Pause
everything.
for a second. No comments, please, while she's talking. Please go ahead.
This last time, we had 10 to 12 inches of water in every room and in the bathtubs. So needless to say, we've lost clothing and shoes and furniture and we don't have money to keep replacing it every time we get flooded. And I know that's not your your concern. You haven't been flooded like that, but we need help. And this is not all of everybody that lives around there. There's people around the corner and down the street. I don't know why they're not here tonight, but we're here for us. And we need help. And that ditch that runs on the side of my house, it fills up, and it's because it's not dug out. That ditch, this is my perception of it. It needs to be dug deeper. You need to put a pipe in there, cover it up, and let the water go go under the street like it's going now. But it's not really going under there because it gets the debris and stuff. And the last time when we had that really bad flood, there was debris and stuff on the streets left from Helene, had not been cleaned up. So the whole 3 big pipes going under the street backed up with Helene's debris. So it couldn't go. And so they found it. It came on a Wednesday night. They didn't come and clean that ditch out until the next Thursday. And then when they cleaned it out, I went across the street and looked, went to my neighbor's yard and looked, and there was still branches in the middle of it. So it still wasn't cleaned out. So I don't think the city is paying attention to that. And every time it floods, the water, it doesn't really have to have a storm between my house and the lady's house next to me. That ditch fills up, even if it's just raining a little bit.
Thank you.
So the man we called, the guy came and he went in there and cleaned it out. He pulled branches and stuff from under there.
We'll come right to you after the meeting wraps up. We'll come sit down with you.
Please, we're desperate.
Thank you, definitely. Thank you, everyone.
I do have something to say. My name is Tina McCombs, and I live at 1203 Timberline Drive. And our yard debris has been outside the road since Helene. Now, I have seen the Bunyan trucks come in our neighborhood 19 times and have not picked up anything. And I have seen city trucks, just pickup trucks riding through, just burning gas. What is the city going to do about this? And this is the stuff that has floated in the ditches, that has stopped up the ditches where everybody is flooded. I got 6 inches in my garage, 24 years. It's never flooded like that. Wood that we had to buy from a tree falling on our house from a leak that was ruined. Now that we have to had to rebuy to fix our roof and everything. So what, I call the city sanitation, they say, okay, city's contracted through Bunyan, but Bunyan's not picking up anything. 19 times in our neighborhood and not getting anything. You can't help but see all the debris before this last flood. So who's responsible for that? Because I haven't seen any city trucks coming around. So what exactly is the city doing about this? The roads are clear for the city to come with their trucks to pick it up. And I mean, this is not small piles. These are big piles of debris. And this needs to be addressed for our whole neighborhood.
We'll be in the middle of you as soon as the meeting's over.
Sir?
So we'll be in the middle of you. We'll come meet with you as soon as the meeting's over.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other citizens wishing to be heard at this time on a different subject matter?
Mayor, council members, I thank you for your time. I am here for a different matter, but it probably all relates. My name is Michael Maurice. I'm a Madison County resident, Madison, Florida. I addressed this council several months ago about the sewage bills in the Withlacoochee and Swanee River systems. This is a bottle of water. Looks nice and clear, but it came from a well. It's just a short distance from the Withlacoochee River. that tested positive for E. coli and fecal matter. Anybody want a drink? I don't want one. I addressed this when I addressed the council at the last meeting. It was expressed that measures were being taken to increase capacity and address the issues, and improvements were in the works. Months later, and it happened again. I understand probably has to do with a lot of this. Y'all got a lot to deal with, and it appears there's a bunch of people in your community that's hurting and need help. So I understand. My question is since my last meeting with y'all, is what steps were taken and what has been done to address the issue and improve the plant to prevent further spills from happening. I understand it's an ongoing process, but I'd like to know where we're at in that process at this point. I also expressed the citizens' concerns that were brought to me about the delay in reporting and notifications. And again, this time it took days before citizens of Madison County were notified that the river was contaminated and that their wells may contain fecal matter and E. coli. I also understand that those notifications pass through several hands before they actually get to us. So there could be a delay, as it's passing along the hands. I feel, in my personal opinion and the opinion of the people that live on the river, that it's unacceptable that it takes such a long time, and that maybe we need to look into a different process of notification to where these people that live on the river, myself included, that have wells know that the wells are contaminated, so they don't drink it. The E. coli and fecal matter levels at the last testings were high enough that it was unsafe to drink, unsafe to swim in, and unsafe for recreational use. But these people use this well water for their drinking water, and they're bathing every day. I feel time is of the essence for people to notify so they don't drink this water that cause health issues. I thank you for your time, and I thank you for your assistance in understanding this matter, so I can bring what information and answers I get from y'all or whoever back to the people that call me constantly with concern. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Michael. Are there any other citizens wishing to be heard at this time? Seeing none, close out that portion of the evening. Turn it over to our city manager for the city manager's report.
Thanks, Mayor. Just to let everyone know that all the concerns that was brought forward, the city's definitely engaged to rectify these situations to make sure that anything that happens, that we look at it, and that's the best possible way that we can, that we take care of it. During the rainfall in the last 13 months, we've had 3 hurricanes, 2 floods. This last storm, we had over 17 inches of rain in certain areas, biblical type storms. So you can assure that the city, that we plan and prepare to do everything possible to keep the city safe and our citizens safe. Just a couple of things to highlight that's coming forward. On November the 29th, we're celebrating Black Friday in downtown Valdosta Main Street. All day long, enjoy special deals and promotions throughout downtown with the local businesses. On November the 30th, Small Business Saturday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Come out and support your local shops and to discover unique gifts also in the downtown Valdosta area. On December the 1st, we've asked everyone, as far as the storm debris, December 1st, we're asking everyone to try to get this material out to the roadside so that we can get it moved. And this is one of the things that we're saying. We're urging individuals to do so. That's not the cutoff date that we're going to pick up. That's the date that we're urging everyone to get it out so that we can pick it up. On December the 4th, we have the Mayor's Motorcade. I know the Mayor is going to speak a little bit more in detail on that. As we come forward through the Christmas holidays, on December the 6th, we're having our annual Christmas tree lighting ceremony at 6 p.m. at Unity Park. We're doing this in partnership with the Lowndes County. Come out and enjoy the festivities.
On December the 7th, from 6 to 9 p.m., the Greater Valdosta Christmas Parade experienced the joy of the season with the annual parade showcasing local creativity and holiday spirit. That's all I have.
Richard, thank you. Council comments? Eric?
I'm sorry you guys had to come out for this reason, because of the flooding, tree debris and whatnot. But we want you to continue to come. Even if it's about this, continue to let us know. But as a council member, all of us up here, we're not privy to the day-to-day operations of the city. So a lot of times when things have been done, you guys know them before we do. So if you guys have anything that you are adamant about, contact us so we can try to make sure that some of this stuff is put on the list so we can have some answers for you. Like I said, a lot of times we don't. I mean, we obviously all do that. But as far as if you see a ditch or culvert or something that needs to be cleaned, reach out to us so we can make sure that we can get someone out there to get it done. Because we're trying to get all that stuff on the schedule. But if you guys see something, let us know.
Cool.
Okay. As usual, I'm glad you're here, and I was at the .com. First, one thing I want to get an understanding and clarity for, one of the citizens came up and he asked a question about whose responsibility is it for the holding part. And someone said it was the GDOT is.
There's several holding ponds throughout the city, and it depends on what area the city maintains and owns several. And then GDOT owns some, and some of them are owned by private communities within the city.
And that's what I wanted to get that clear, because of the fact is one thing coming up about the holding pond in the area where the majority of the people go by P&O. I'm not gonna come back out there and talk with y'all this time. Y'all have come to us and we talk. Y'all know I've been out there with y'all in the rain when we had this problem. And some of the suggestions that we made, talking about the pipe, we were told the pipe was unclogged, we won't have this flooding anymore. And I'm right there with you. I have been asking for that, okay? We've been talking about that, what we need to do. And one thing I was told, we were supposed to get a holding pond over that way.
Yes, we're looking at putting in on the Lakeland Avenue, plans to put in a stormwater facility that will take on and dissipate water as it comes in.
And that's why I said we can try. I can't say when it's going to happen. I'm told they're taking, stay out of this Hammond in the city. Hammond, I'm sorry about the flood. I understand it. I've been over there. I've seen it. You know that. Yes. All I can say is we're trying and keep coming, keep bringing it to us. Maybe if you put a little urgency on it, maybe we will. As the city start working with it. But I sympathize with you. I've seen it. I understand. You don't want one person I do know move from the area because he was tired of flood. He's leaving the city. You don't like the way the city is managed. And I understand these people been in their residence for 40-something years. I understand you go. You want to, you're paying your taxes, you're doing what the city asks you, you ask the city to do something. You want the city to give it back. We're trying, we're going to keep trying. I'm going to keep saying bear with me. I understand. We need to come in here, we need to come talk some more because, like I said, I heard it. And I want y'all to talk to that city manager, and I told him, you understand? And come and tell them exactly what it is. Keep coming, keep talking. Maybe we can come up with a solution. I've been asking, I keep saying we need it. I'm moving as far as going to some of our state representatives, and I'm asking for funding for infrastructure to put back into that to do that. We're working on it. We need to get some of the funding to do that. So we're asking for it. And I need y'all to help us ask the representatives. So when we get it, make us accountable for it. So we heard you got the money, let's put it back in this area. We need that too, y'all. That'll help us get this taken care of. I want y'all to have, the houses to be safe for you to live in and enjoy it right here in Valdosta too. That's all I'm gonna say right now. Thank you.
Nothing. So, Richard mentioned the mayor's motorcade. something pretty special. The fire department collects items, Christmas items, and day-to-day toiletry items that we get to take to Parkwood Development Center every year. We find as much joy as those 150, 160 residents do by showing up there. We show up there in mass with fire trucks. We go in and meet with the residents. We disperse the presents, and then we bring them out to help them up into the fire trucks and let them tour all that. It's just a joy. It came from years ago. The mayor's motorcade used to go over to the Thomasville facility till they closed that. And then we brought it right back here to our own community and to our own citizens, a lot who don't have any family on this earth at all. So thank you, Richard, for bringing that up. It's something that we'll be doing December 4th for my 5th year. Even through COVID, we got to stay outside of the facility and make their life a little brighter. I'm going to take a slightly different approach. I hurt with all of you. Helene, which was our 3rd hurricane, mixed in with a 75-mile-an-hour straight line wind. Helene left us a whole lot of gifts that left us unprepared for that 17 inches of rain in a 48-hour period in that 2-day flood. She left us with every creek and every stream and every river full of thousands of trees and root balls and trees are instant beaver dams. Made by a tropical storm, made by a hurricane, excuse me. So with every single creek, stream, and tributary that we have in our stormwater program, and then all the debris on the side of the roads made every single curb, gutter, ditch, and drain about useless. That water had to go somewhere else, and we flooded in places we never even dreamed could flood in this town. I say all that to say this: we're working a plan. Our workers are tired. They just keep going. That is everything I just mentioned is in a 14-month period of time. Our workers are after it every single day and through the night. One of the hurricanes, we were working 24 hours. We put 2 of our best crews on under lights during the course of the night. Ours are the blue rollaways that you see. The big ones are Ashbrit. Big debris, it's Ashbrit. The small debris is our guys, and they are nonstop. We are 4 times more debris than we were for Idalia. So please know they're trying. Please know they're tired and exhausted. Please know we're going to come up with a plan. And again, we feel your pain. Stuff happened in my backyard I never thought could happen either. So we feel for you, and please be patient a little while longer. Tim? Nick?
Definitely feel your pain. I know a lot of folks who mentioned that you didn't have flood insurance. Then you're having some issues with FEMA not being qualified. I know there's certain thresholds that you had to meet. We actually had a meeting. The mayor and I attended a meeting this past week where we were trying to come up with solutions for those folks, for you guys who are affected and get things done. So after the meeting, I would like to get some of that information from you all. Also, of course, a lot of us are tapped as far as financially. We have several of these Christmas events, the motorcade and some other things. I do an annual event yearly with an organization called Beautiful Creation by Chanel. We have Toys in the Hood, which we're going to be having at Mildred Hunter Center December 14th. Bring kids out. We always have different goods, different things, because I know a lot of grandparents who take care of their grandchildren, all of this stuff, and foster parents need a little help, especially this year. A lot of stuff, a lot of things, a lot of folks hurt. So please come out to that. And we just gonna keep on pushing. We got a lot of folks, our employees, and our as the mayor mentioned, they are definitely working around the clock. And we're just gonna keep at it. We'll keep at it.
Yeah.
Sandra?
One other thing.
You can, please.
Dr. Mitch, there's an organization, South Street Community Care House, and we do feed people, give them food, we help them out with a lot of resources and everything. And on November the 27th, from 11 o'clock to 2 o'clock, South Street Community Care Hall volunteers and workers are going to be sponsoring a luncheon for the county and city employees. It's going to be at the Valdosta Park and Rec Building, 1901 Boulevard. It's because like we do see how everybody's working. We like to give back and show our appreciation because they have helped with a lot. Just want y'all to know that others may come join, but we are definitely going to be the city and county employees.
Sandra, thank you. Thank you for doing that. Oh, and if you do get by Mildred Hunter, an appearance every year by Saint Big Nick. He is Santa Claus.
Yeah. I did that Park Avenue, the way the
Stormwater facility.
right. It was that part of the infrastructure bill that we the ordinance that we passed last month.
That one is not. We have asked for congressional funding to fund that. However, we have started the plans and whatnot to move forward. So the plans and everything is moving forward, but still haven't gotten the funding to actually, funding's there to plan it, but everything in plans and not actually go into construction. We're working hard.
Okay, I just wanted to highlight that because just so you guys know, some of this stuff was before our time. You know, some of this stuff was here. You got some new council folks, and we are definitely trying to make it right. Make a difference. We just passed an ordinance, maybe was it 3 weeks ago, to enhance our water system before the storm even came. We've been working at this and going at this, so it's not, we're definitely trying to correct some of these systems and enhance and fix some of the things that have been going on. So it's not like we don't hear you. We definitely hear you.
Thank you. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you, everybody.